Hello, everybody. My name is Tim Ryan. I'm coming to you with some information on Start Peninsula. And as we get ready for the competitions that are getting ready to start here in July, one of the things that always comes up in conversation is the ability to communicate or pitch your business. And we have one of the experts in the area that we want to talk about communication, and that is Gary Plaag, who is joining us. How you doing, Gary?
Hi, Tim. Good. Good to join you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's interesting, the world in which we live. This is how we talk to everybody now, but such is life. We overcome and we adapt, and we're getting ready to kick off Pitch Perfects. But this is our second. We'll have our second Pitch Perfects coming up here soon. But point being is that we have now evolved, and we're doing online versions of how to teach somebody how to pitch their business.
Yep.
And we've created quite a nice little buzz with people joining us from literally all around the country. The last time we had somebody from, I think, either residing in England or residing in America from England that was getting ready to do a competition. But
Hmm.
we quickly realized that we're attracting an audience that might be outside of Start Peninsula. And what we normally do when we start Pitch Perfects is talk about what Start Peninsula is, the whole outfit, and what somebody can expect, and it doesn't necessarily fit. So we just want to take a little bit of time right now and discuss what goes into a pitch and why it is so important. And one of the interesting things is that communicating in front of people or presentations, delivering those is one of the most fearful things that anybody can encounter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people get just really terrified about how they're going to be seen and everything. And I think that, and how they're going to come off. Are they going to make a mistake, or what are they going to do that's going to mess the whole thing up? I think a lot of us, I guess I would say that nobody is born a great presenter. I think it's a learned skill. And so we have to practice it, just like we're not born tennis players. And of course, there are certain, we could call them freaks of nature, that can play the piano from when they're 4 and didn't really have a lesson, or they're really great gymnasts, or they play sports at an exceedingly high level that none of the normal humans can do, no mortals can do. And we always wonder why that happens. So I think there may be people who are born with certain skills, and we find out what those skills are, and they are lucky to find them early. But in general, I would say, in my experience of teaching at the university level and then in my corporate work, that there are very few people who are really comfortable getting up and speaking, in front of other people. And I think a lot of that from baggage we carry around from when we were little and the way we've grown up. And something didn't go well. Usually when it's a presentation, it didn't go well. That book report in the 3rd grade, when everybody laughed at you, or the the project you had in high school and people laughed at you on that one too, or you got a bad grade on it, and or you felt just awful doing it, or the the horrible piano recital that your parents made you take piano lessons, and then you had to go to the recital and play, and you messed up 3 notes, and you live with the horror of that for the next 5 years. And that's all imprinted on us. So I think that it's difficult for people when they get put into a situation where now we have an added issue in these things like pitch competitions, where it's not just my skills that are scary and the fact that I have to explain these things to other people, and all the horrors from the past come running back. What's worse is that now I have an idea that I want to pitch, that what if people don't accept it? What if people think it's the dumbest idea ever? What if I think it's not fully fleshed out yet, but I think it's a good base idea and I want to run with it a little bit, and I don't know how it will turn out? So here I am, terrified that I now have a bunch of things working against me. I
Yeah.
got I got scary book report memories and piano recital memories, and then and when I had to say, let's say, I when I got married, I had to do my vows and I forgot them. And that's in front of everybody. And so all these horrors are coming back to us. And now I have this weird idea that as an entrepreneur or a Martian, nobody understands this idea. And I'm going to try to tell somebody about it. And then so we've just added more insecurity to the whole mix.
And we've seen that firsthand. We've been doing Pitch Perfect together for several years now.
Right, right,
And for those people that aren't familiar as to why we even started doing Pitch Perfect, that was a direct reflection from Start Peninsula. Because when we first started Start Peninsula several years ago, we realized at the time it was done on a Friday night, and then the first people would get up there to pitch their idea, and it was very, I will put it nicely, that it was very evident that people had not practiced their pitch.
right.
So
Well,
then we
and I
had,
think also evident that people were not self-aware. They had
right,
no idea what they even looked like. Had no idea if their if their idea made sense, if they were able to explain it. And I think as well as you say, because they hadn't practiced, they just had it in their head. And then the first time that they heard it out of their mouth was at the competition.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially funny when, as you just said, people can convince themselves in their head that a 90-second pitch or a 3-minute pitch or whatever the case is, super easy. And then when somebody gets up there and they do it for the first time, and they're still on the first paragraph, and the buzzer goes off, and they don't even have a chance to finish the first thought of the business that they're pitching.
Oh yeah. And I would bet if the folks that do stuff at Start Peninsula, the pitchers, that they probably, I come from a musical background, and I've been in singing competitions and group singing competitions, and I can tell you that most of the competitions I was in was 2 songs, and each one was about 3 minutes. And in the 6 minutes that we'd prepared for years to go to this competition, we would get on stage, and when we got off stage, we wouldn't know what happened in those 6 minutes. No idea what occurred. And I think that many of the people that pitch at these competitions are the same.
Right.
They're hijacked by adrenaline and cortisol. They're stressed out. They're in survivor mode. They don't know what's going on. They're unable to enjoy the fact that they got to share their idea with somebody. And so, yeah, I would bet that most of the people we've seen over the past few years, they have no clue until they have the courage to go back and watch the video that we took of them. They have no
Right.
clue what they even did. That 3 minutes or 90 seconds or 5 minutes or whatever it is a blur to them, and they're really not aware of what they said.
So you hit a great point in the sense that nobody is really born with that natural ability to present in front of an audience. And another great point that you made was that this is a big stage. I mean, you're pitching an idea that's really close to you. You're pitching to a panel of judges that are critiquing you on your ability, and you're pitching for cold hard cash.
Right.
So there's a lot on the line, and the transformation that we have seen as we've worked with hundreds at this point of people pitching their business ideas, the transformation that takes place from the first time that we see somebody to the time that they step on stage to pitch their idea to the panel of judges, it is, to me, it's one of the most rewarding things that I have seen, provided that they put forth the efforts needed that is needed to do great.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen that numerous times. We've seen the various people whose names I will not say, but they've really worked hard over, and some people years of honing that skill and really becoming really, I mean, down to the nth degree on the words that are used and all that. But to that point, becoming very, very self-aware of how they're seen. And as you said, this is the big stage. And, with my clients, I tell them if they come to me and say, I have a big presentation, then within the first few times that we meet, that term presentation is no longer the term that we use. We use the term performance, because every time that you're getting up and sharing information with people, it's a performance. It's not a presentation. And the presentation is what's in the box. The performance is you. And you need to be able to perform the delivery of this information to people. So when we start talking about it as a performance, that puts it in the right perspective, I believe. It's really, it really matters. And you want some great performance skills. It's art as well. And you have to think also, how many of those people who are there in the audience, the judges or the other people in the audience, how many of them really want you to fail?
That's a
They
great point.
probably don't. It's unlikely that they want you to be successful, because why would they want to waste their time sitting there listening to you babble on if and hope that you don't do well?
Right.
And so I don't see that as an issue either. But anyway, so it's just a performance. It really needs to be considered a performance, just like you were going to be at Carnegie Hall, or even if you were going to be singing at church, you had a
Right.
solo at church or in your friend's wedding or whatever. You want to be able to do that as a performance, and of course, you would practice.
But that's one of the things that it's almost a downfall when every person that we see on television, on stage, live performances that we're seeing that are streaming, these people that are performing, they make it look so easy. And behind the scenes, what we don't see is that they have hours and hours and hours of practice.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing is that to make it look so natural and flow so just spot on, that behind the scenes
Right.
they practice a lot.
A lot. A lot. Yeah, and what they say, the old joke, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice is how you get to Carnegie Hall. You don't get there if you're not practicing. And again, being very self-aware. And the way that self-awareness happens is that you don't just practice, you video record yourself. And
So
then
my that's where I was going with. So how do you best view how others see you? Is it through the video recording?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you go and you video record yourself, and it's so easy today. Back when we were in school, it was expensive to have a video camera and take your picture, record your thing, whatever your presentation, your performance, and then it was a week before you could get it, and it was very expensive to get the feedback. And it took a lot. You had to get a big projector and plug the projector in and put the video on. The whole thing was a mess. Now we have a telephone. All our telephones are basically one-stop shops on everything. We can
Right.
video, audio record, do all that. So you can practice your stuff without anyone. I think for a lot of people, they don't want anybody else to see it till it's ready. And so with your phone, with a video camera, that if you really have a video camera, you can set that up, video record yourself, and no one else has to be in the room with you. That's great. The way to get better though is, one is doing the video recording, and then the harder part is actually watching the video recording and seeing what other people see. And then that becomes very, very frightening and very humiliating. And people don't like their voices. They
Oh,
don't
that's
like
what I
what
was
they
just
look
about to
like.
say.
They don't like any of that. And your voice sounds exactly on the video. It sounds exactly like what your voice sounds like to other people, but it doesn't sound like your voice to you, because when you're speaking, then all the bones in your head and everything are vibrating, and you're not hearing things from the outside. You're hearing things from the inside. Well, getting real comfortable. And I say that you do it 5 times. You video record and watch, video record and watch, and you do it 5 times. And by the fifth time of looking at it, you're pretty much over yourself. And you go, okay, that's what I sound like. That's what I look like. And if I want to change some things, I can do that. Am I going to be able to change my voice in the next 30 days? Probably not. Am I going to be able to change what I look like in the next 30 days? Probably not. But it is what it is. But if you can't look at you and you can't see what others see, then we're going to know that. That's the hard part, is that we're going to know in the audience that you don't have a lot of confidence about either your product. We won't know exactly what it is you're uncomfortable about, but we'll know. We know there's
Mhm.
something wrong. And it could be that It could be you and your self-confidence about what you look like. It could be you and your lack of self-confidence about your voice. It could be lack of self-confidence about your idea. Have I really gone? I know that you like to talk about this a lot with people that are just getting started, is that go out and share your idea with 100 people and get some feedback and
Right.
see what they think. And if 75 of those 100 people think you're crazy, then you might want to retool. And so it's just important to go out there and just get your, especially with just the video, is just to video record yourself and then watch it and
Hmm.
get real used to that. And all the vanity goes away once you've done that, because the things that people say to that I notice that they say is, I'm overweight, I'm underweight, my hair looks like this, I don't have hair, all these things. I don't look like I did 45 years ago. Yes, that's
I haven't gotten a haircut in 2 months.
exactly. I mean, people, they just, yeah. So I just say video recording yourself and then going and watching it. Those are two critical steps. And it
Right.
could be that you just even start to get used to video recording yourself and watching it. You could talk about how to make brownies, and that would be okay. You
Sure.
probably know how to make brownies. You probably know how to change a tire on the car. You probably know how to do all these things you do in your regular day. Just just go ahead and just get used to video recording everything and looking at it, and nobody else has to see it. And you can sit with your pet, your cat or your dog, and you can watch it together, and you can pet the kitty if you have anxiety about watching the video. But just no other humans have to be there. You can just watch it. But I just highly recommend just getting used to yourself.
One of the things that I'm really, really proud of is the what we have created with Pitch Perfect, because we have created a safe environment where we understand that people are not born with the natural born ability to present or perform in front of dozens, if not hundreds of people. We understand that it requires practice, and this is a learned skill. And this is a great way to show people firsthand. This is how people view you, and these are the things that we can work with on you to provide the most memorable and effective pitch for your business that's possible.
Mhm.
So we invite everybody to join us for Pitch Perfect. We have several of them already scheduled. The place to go is startpeninsula.com. And from Start Peninsula, there is a page appropriately named Pitch Perfect. And we have all of the dates. We have those established. We now do everything on Zoom. So again, that's even a more sense of security. You can be in a room that is comfortable to you, as opposed to in a strange room with strange people, talking in front of a bunch of strangers. But we encourage everybody to, if you have that idea, if you want to become a better presenter, Gary and I host this, and it's free. So it doesn't cost anybody anything, but learn. And we dissect every part of what goes into that performance, and you're going to come out the other end much, much better than when you first started.
And as the Pitch Perfect things move on, we have a number of them scheduled. A couple, I think we have one every month here coming up. And as those happen, I encourage, and I know in the past we've done this too, is that as you start to develop your idea and you start working on your pitch and you want to run it by us, we have time. We usually have time for a few people to run their pitch by us, and then we can give them some feedback, and then they can come back the next time and do it again.
Right.
We can't do everybody, obviously, because we don't have time, but we have, certainly it's a great opportunity to start running your idea by an audience of people, because usually I think at Pitch Perfect we get 10 or 15 people who, and maybe more, who are on the call with us. And wow, that's what great feedback that they can get, and just the act of doing it. Because as you say, you're in the safety of your own home, and if you have anxiety or whatever, you're still safe in your place, and nobody can really hurt you. You don't have to go and walk the trail of tears to your car, and and everybody talk to you and you feel shame because you didn't do as well as you'd like. Well, we're all just trying it online and we can do that. And so, yeah,
Right.
so I think that's a piece of Pitch Perfect as well, is how do we just, and I think people can come as many times as they want
They can.
and you
Yep.
learn a ton. I know from doing, being a teacher of communications at a university, I know that the students in the class that perform, and then they learn so much from watching other people perform and get feedback. And so everybody helps everybody else grow and get better.
That's right.
And so
And
that's
as
another
you,
great thing about Pitch Perfect.
yeah, as you said earlier, everybody wants to see everyone else win, and that's part of the culture that we create.
Yeah.
In addition to it being a safe place, and as many times as you participate, you're also a great side benefit is that people are giving you ideas how you can improve your business in
Yep.
addition to your performance. So we encourage everybody, join us. Pitch Perfects, startpeninsula.com is the website. Go there, check it out, register. It's going to be a great time. Low threat, safe zone. The last thing that we want anyone to do is to say, "Gosh, I had this great business idea, but I was afraid to tell anybody about it." And then you live the rest of your life never knowing what it could have been.
Right. Regret is a heavy burden to bear.
It is.
Yep.
Well,
A lot
Gary,
more,
thank you.
a lot
Oh,
heavier than, doing it and saying I did it.
that's right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Gary. I appreciate you taking a couple of minutes. We'll do this again. We're just scratching the surface, and this is one of the most important topics that one needs to cover. So I look forward to a future chat with you, and I look
Yeah,
forward to
absolutely.
our next
And our
Pitch
next,
Perfect.
perfect. Yeah, indeed. Thanks,
Awesome.
Tim.
Thanks, Gary. So long.